Hi, thanks for tuning in to another ACO Designer Chat. My name is Mia Farrell. I'm a designer at ACO. I'm here to help you love where you live. And in this special Love Where You Live series, we are taking you start to finish through a remodel. This particular kitchen remodel finally has cabinets. Very excited that there are cabinets in this space. It's so exciting when the space starts to form and we get materials on site. And the heart of any kitchen is going to be the cabinets. So it's a big deal here today to get these bad boys in place. And as you can see, we have a very beautiful farmhouse sink that is kind of the focal point of this space. So I've got Jose Hernandez and Bill Cundiff here. Bill is our project manager, who you've seen before.
Correct.
Jose is a carpenter at ACO. And Jose, can you talk to us a little bit about the approach when we cut out for the farmhouse sink?
Well, most of the time we follow the instructions and we follow the window and find the center right in the middle and try to do a nice cut with our touch. Kitchen, we have good help with Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
now,
looking at the approach when I got here today, when you guys were measuring to make sure that we weren't going to destroy that cabinet.
Right. Well, and the thing about a sink like that is it's a poured sink. So each one of them is a little bit different. Mm-hmm. So you can't always go exactly by what somebody's written down. You have to kind of measure the actual thing and cut it to fit precisely that sink. So
yeah, and that's exactly right. And I've seen it happen with appliances too, right? Where you have a wall oven cabinet and we're doing the cutout for it. We don't always have to do the cutout. Sometimes when we're working with a custom line or even a semi-custom line, perhaps the hole is cut for us based on the specs of the appliance. But I've seen you cutting holes for appliances on site too.
Yeah, that's what we do. Sometimes we have different measurements, so we need to adjust those.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, I think it's always important to take the approach of, okay, cool, we've got specs. It's cool that they've got measurements on them. Let's make sure before we take a power tool to this cabinet that was just so expertly installed.
Yeah, right. How much of a gap do we need to get the appliance in? How much does the appliance cover? And every one of them's different. So
yeah, and how many people does it take to get the appliance in?
Right.
All very important things to consider when we've got cabinets installed. So talk to me from a scheduling perspective, what the approach is typically when we've got cabinets getting installed.
So we schedule the templating of the countertops to follow the installation of the cabinets directly, because once we set those base cabinets, they don't move. We're literally setting something in stone.
You're exactly right. That's so true. Because those countertops, they're going in.
Yep.
And with this project in particular, we did have some delays, which was really unfortunate in these COVID times. The way that, different manufacturers have dealt with things has caused some issues on site. So your genius approach was, let's get these base cabinets in, let's get that countertop template done so we can get these countertops in as quickly as possible so that we can get a sink.
Yep. It's always important to think about, which steps are dependent on which steps and really clarify what is the real goal that we're trying to get to.
Absolutely. Yeah, where's the finish line?
Yep.
How do we get there?
Yep.
So one of the other finishing touches, speaking of finish line, is trim. So talk to me a little bit about crown molding and things like that.
Well, after we set all the base cabinets and the uppers, we start installing all the fillers, scry, toque, shumas, so many pieces. So we need to follow every single step. Like first, we need to install all the base and do shumol, toque. And the last for me is crown, that is the more difficult. And that's the last crown is the ceilings. Sometimes it's not perfect, the same the walls. So it takes a lot of time, and it's just take your time and do it right just one time, because it's just one cut that needs to be perfect. So that's why we always take our time in the crown, in the last.
Yeah, it's like the cherry on top.
It is.
It's so often that people approach a design and say, I want to take those cabinets to the ceiling, and don't really think about all the nuances that go along with that. There's a lot of complexities with, like ceilings not being totally level.
Right. It's not uncommon for a ceiling to sag.
Yep,
especially in an older home. And if you push cabinets to the ceiling, then you end up highlighting that fact. So
Yeah.
sometimes it just looks better not to.
Yep, you're exactly right. Sometimes we'll pull them just shy, have a little shadow line. That's
Yeah.
another way to do it. The other thing to consider would be if you have existing room crown, which we don't here, but in the event that we do, sometimes we'll just copy that profile of
Right.
the room crown and extend it around the cabinets so that we can get that nice finished look with the cabinets being installed all the way to the ceiling.
Yeah, if you can get lucky and have a profile that you can replicate on a cabinet and cope the crown directly into the perimeter crown, sometimes you might need to put a transition block or something in place. There's a lot of options.
Right, yeah.
Depends on the style too.
Yeah, sometimes those transition blocks can be a little bit more of a traditional style, and there are areas in our city that have some older homes, but it may not be the style. So anything that we can do to make sure that we're considering all the factors, we're considering the home, we're considering the homeowner's aesthetic and what they're going for, and just plan all those things in advance, right?
Absolutely.
And once we get there, once we have a plan and we have cabinets on site, we've got the best in the business to get you to the finish line. So please keep following along with our Love Where You Live series and see a little bit more about what this project has in store.